in his freaking house, and he's just like, and he's using that potion fighting. I'm like, okay, wow, this guy actually does shit. What's funny is people were calling him the Jar Jar Binks of this film. I'm like, no, Jar Jar Binks doesn't do anything. This guy does stuff.
Yeah, and also, wait, people were actually saying that this character was Jar Jar Binks?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't really care for him that much. I don't get why, because he was actually a really good character. I especially love the scene where he's in the sled with the freaking rabbits being chased by the wolves. Those freaking wolves. I'm like, dude, that's kind of fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah, I love that little scene where they're outnumbered and they're thinking like, how are we gonna get out of this? And the wizard, the forest wizard, I can't recall his name, but he's like, I can use my jackrabbits to get away, and they're like, they'll outrun you. And he goes, I welcome it.
Yeah, I like that scene. I also love when the rocks are having their freaking massive fight. I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Wait, are you talking about the stone?
Yeah, those giant stones are all duking it out. I'm like,
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the living trees. Yeah, where in Return of the King, they decide to go to Saruman's headquarters or his base of operations, and instead of running away, that they just go to town with the orcs and destroy that
yeah, that was.
compound. And I found the stone orcs, well, before they turned to stone, to be rather humorous because it's when the horses were captured and they were going to be used for food, and the two elves, they decided to go after them, but then they look to Bilbo. They go, well, you're small, and you won't be detected. And Bilbo's like, no, no, I do not want to get involved. No, leave me out of this. And they somehow convince him to go there. And the part where he's trying to actually get the horses free, and he kind of fails at it to start with, because he's trying to untie it and he can't do it, and he goes for one of the, were they goblins or orcs, or what exactly were they?
They were trolls.
Yeah, they were trolls. And when he's behind them, one of them, which I feel sorry for Bilbo because he gets picked up, and one of the trolls uses him for a handkerchief, and I'm thinking to myself, ew, and then I get this picture in my head thinking like, Bilbo's a Hobbit hanky. That would be good advertisement right there. He was like, get your Bilbo, Samwise, Frodo, Pippin, Hobbit hanky for $2.99 in stores now.
Well, this is kind of the thing though. It's like I was when I saw this movie. One thing I was glad is it still was a dark film. They didn't decide to say, "Oh, let's make it for kids now," because we want to get a higher audience, a bigger market. So let's make it all for fucking little kids, which is something they didn't do. It was still a dark film at times. You actually see a decapitation. One guy's holding up a head and pulling up a head during a battle. I'm like, oh damn, that's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you don't see the head cut off, but I find it odd that they would show an arm getting chopped off, but they wouldn't show a decapitation.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like I was hoping he would not do what George Lucas did and say and fuck up the prequels like the way George Lucas did with Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
And I was thinking like, oh my god, do not make this like fucking Star Wars. Do not make this as bad as the fucking prequels. And I'm like, oh my god, it's not. It's actually enjoyable.
Yeah, my favorite part of the film had to be the interaction between Bilbo and Gollum. Because my initial reaction was thinking like they're probably gonna do it like how the Fellowship did. You showed Bilbo find the ring, and then Gollum saying, "The precious, it's gone," and do it like that. But no, they actually had some interaction because then I thought, well, obviously they would have to have that because in Fellowship the Ring, Gollum knew Bilbo's name. So then you have that game of riddles, which is rather hilarious. I loved that little competition where they're trying to outthink each other with more elaborate um, riddles, you know, and then you get to the part where Bilbo actually outthinks them by saying, you know, guess what's in my pocket, you know, and then I like that Gollum wasn't a complete idiot because there was times where he would give away the answer or saying that we like that, and then he'd go into his split personality and say, "Shut up," and have him flip out when he realizes that Bilbo has the ring, and he gets pissed off and goes after him. And then the I wish they had done, but I don't hate how they did it with Bilbo discovering how to put the ring on. You know, I felt like that was done specifically as a um, homage to the Fellowship of the Ring when Frodo fell over in the I guess you could call it an inn or a cafe or something, and the ring flies up in the air, and it just so happens, falls right onto Frodo's hand. Them doing that, you know, it felt like it was a giving a little nod to the Fellowship of the Ring, though I don't know if the cartoon actually did that. But the scene that really had me almost in tears was when Bilbo he has the chance to actually kill Gollum, and Gollum he doesn't I don't know if he knows that he's there or if he can sense him there, but you see the look on Gollum's face, and he looks like a lost puppy or a lost kid, completely heartbroken, and he looks like he's seconds away from crying, and you go, for some strange reason, I just had the sudden urge to just want to jump in and hug Gollum and say, there, Smeagol, don't cry, because I actually felt bad for him in that moment, because, how did you feel when you saw that?
I like that scene. I like the fact that showed Bilbo. He showed sympathy to Gollum. It looks Gollum you look sad. Like, oh, he looks sad. You can't kill him, can you? He's like,
No.
it's like nah. So then they get to the scene where everyone's like, "Where'd Bilbo go?" Oh, he probably left. He didn't belong with us anyways. And then he suddenly kind of comes in, and goes. He kind of comes in and says, "You're right. I don't belong here. I want to go back home, but you don't have a home. I'm gonna help you." And he's like, and you're like, yeah, Bilbo, you're awesome. But I love the scene where they're in the tree, when they're on that like the trees and they're all falling down. Suddenly there's when that one orc is there, and the one
The,
what's his,
is it the white orc or the pale orc?
it's the pale I think the pale orc, but he's there and it's a fire and suddenly who's the leader of the dwarves?
Oh crap. Um, he's well, I can't recall his name. Let me try to look him. Let me look him up real quick. Because I've got the Hobbit app here on my phone. Let's see. Index. The character is Thorin Oakenshield.
Oh, Thorn, yeah, dude, that was. I love the scene where he's on the tree and the fire's all coming up. He grabs his sword and attacks that guy and attacks the gray orc.
Oh yeah, because it was an interesting fight sequence, but it sort of looked to me like, oh, you got two of your comrades that need your help. That they might actually fall over the edge because apparently the only person that's keeping them from falling to their death is Gandalf because he's using his staff to pull them up or to keep them from falling. That's their only real lifeline to keep from certain doom. And then you see Theron. Let's see, what's his name again? Thorin. He takes one look at the pale orc or ogre or however he, yes, orc, and it's like, I need my revenge. He goes straight for him. And I'm like, not the not a wise thing to do. Or you could do that, but to me, I'd put bringing rescuing friends who are in danger above personal vendetta.
Mm.
But then he goes off to fight him, and I like where they went from there, which is that they had Bilbo actually take on a few of them. So it was like this redeeming quality to where that Bilbo had to prove himself because he was the weak link of the group. You know, everyone else was trying to help him, and he had Thorin say, "Yeah, we shouldn't have brought him along. He's useless to us. He has no experience. He's always in danger. Why did we even consider bringing him along?" And then it turns out Bilbo's the one person that keeps them from being killed. So that was a touching moment where he's revived and he says all these things, and then he says, I've never been more happy to be wrong in my entire life. And he wraps his arms around Bilbo and hugs him, thanking him.
Well, anyways, it was a good movie, but I think that's. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, you've been listening to the Manoftomorrow podcast. We will see you later. Good night.